Hey, Rachel, I'll start you off. You know, when I talked to you after the Pacific game, you said that was the biggest win in your time here. You had another huge win against Davis. Just talk about how big of a week that was for you guys, just, you know, morale-wise and everything.
It was definitely a big week. I guess if you had asked me after Davis, I probably would have said, no, that's the greatest win we've ever had at Cal Poly. So it was great to go from one high at Pacific and not to let that spoil our focus, and then to go in on against Davis on Saturday and produce a really, really good performance against a top team in conference. So it was definitely a special week for us. Obviously, we had limited numbers, and a lot of people on the outside were focusing on that, but on the inside, we knew that we were a 16-girl unit, and all 16 of us were ready to contribute, and I think that really showed in the two games. If you saw the strength of our bench, even people who weren't playing were extremely vocal and involved, and I think that really was credit to everybody on the team and really came through in the two results that we had.
I mean, would you say up into, you know, as of this point of your career, was that the most memorable week you've had, just as far as what everyone went through and how you guys persevered?
Definitely. I mean, it was great to get 2 wins. And especially the week that we had going into it. And we knew they were going to be really tough, but definitely winnable. But to win the way we did, and the crowd was fantastic. We had great support, and just everything all around. Everyone was involved, I felt like, even though not everyone was suited up. So I think it was the best week I've personally had at Cal Poly. And as a team, I think it's the strongest week we've had, too.
As one of the few seniors on the team, how much of a role did you have in your team meetings last week to say, hey, you know, we could fall apart or we could come together?
Yeah.
You know, how big of a role, how vocal were you in making sure that happened?
Well, we all definitely understood that it was a crossroads in the season, and I don't think we even left it up to anyone to decide. The seniors already made a move that we knew we were going to go in the positive direction, obviously, and we had some talks about that. And when we were down numbers, we definitely had continuing talks during the week, so everyone knew how important their role was, regardless of whether they were on the court, on the bench, suited up or not. So I think a good core of us did a good job of preparing everybody for what was ahead. So there were no surprises come game time, and we knew our game plan, and we just stuck to that and had faith that the coaches would put us in a position to win, and they did, and we were able to come up with 2 great wins.
So you guys hit the road this week for 2 games. Talk about how do you keep the momentum going? How do you keep the wins coming on the road?
Well, an important thing I think is going to be to try to keep bench energy up, because we have a lot of redshirts who will not be traveling, so that's definitely an emphasis for us that we need to talk about. We had today off and yesterday to rest legs, so we'll have a good practice tomorrow and Wednesday, and hopefully make sure everyone's still not on too much of a high from last week, but refocus, because we have 2 great opponents coming up, and obviously road games are not easy to win. So we know that they're extremely important, and we can't count on anything that happened last week. This is a brand new week, brand new opposition, so we'll be focused and ready to go.
Rachel, were you guys surprised that you were able to beat Davis, considering everything that was going on with the squad?
No, I think we go into every game with high expectations, and we had been focusing on both opponents for the whole week. We put in scout on Davis early in the week, too, just because having only Friday practice is a quick turnaround. So we knew that they were a very systematic team, very disciplined, and if they can't do option A, B, or C, they go D, E, F, and they go all the way through, and we knew exactly what to expect. And I think we were extremely well prepared by the coaches in terms of watching film and prepping for their zone defense, which is obviously a very unusual thing to face, and their offensive sets. And I think we also did a very good job adapting to what the game demanded. Like we felt like we had to go to zone, which is something we haven't practiced a huge amount, but we were able to adapt and do what we needed to do to get a great win, and I don't think we were surprised at all.
You guys are now atop the standings in the Big West. How much from last year's experience of being in the top 1, top 2 will help you hopefully this season and hopefully staying there atop the league standings?
Well, yeah, obviously we want to be as high up as we possibly can, but we know it's anybody's game every night. Everyone is so close regardless of whether you're in top or in the bottom of the league, so we don't put too much stock in that. We're just really happy we got 2 great home wins, and hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling on the road, because we know that there's no real guaranteed win in the Big West this year.
Rachel, with all the injuries, or some of the injuries that you guys have been dealing with, I know a lot of the air probably went out of the balloon at the beginning of the year, but now you guys have you've gelled together, you're working really hard, and it looks like not only you yourself as a leader out there, but you're getting a lot of help from the girls off the bench. Just talk a little bit about how important it is for you yourself to be sort of the leader, I guess, but also the help that you're getting from your teammates right now.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't really say from our perspective the air went out of the balloon, but I know from the outside that that's what it looked like to a lot of people. It just took us some time to, I think, get roles tapered and realize what people could do to help contribute to wins, and I think that's really been evident in the last couple of weeks. And I mean, we've had double-figure scorers, different people stepping up to rebound, people coming off the bench who you wouldn't normally expect to see playing. So think it's going to make it very difficult for opponents to try and scout us as well, because it could be anybody's night, no matter what's going on. Everyone's been stepping up in every area, so I think that's been great. And I mean, we've been expecting that to happen all year long. I know people on the outside had their doubts, but on the inside we didn't, and it's great to see people doing what they're doing, and I know they'll continue to do that.
And then with the 3 wins in a row, I mean, you guys are off to an awesome start right now, and I know you guys are going to keep that going. What's it going to take to just, keep that going and keep that focus so you don't get too complacent at where you are?
I just think knowing what got us those wins last week, everybody playing their role and being committed to that role, whether you were on the court or not. So everyone being able to do that on the road and making sure we get off to good starts in both places. We can't dig ourselves a hole slightly like we did against Pacific last week. We need to get off to good starts, try build a lead, and maintain it throughout the game, because they're both tough teams, and it's definitely tough to go there on the road. So hopefully we'll be able to pull out 2 wins.
Hey, Rachel. I know a lot of the injuries last year, you were forced to play a lot of, some forward in the beginning of the year. Did that help you with some of the stuff that you had to play this weekend? Excuse me.
A little bit. I think regardless of what happened with things last year, the coaches always have me ready to go no matter what position I'm going to be in, and they always communicate very well in advance, like if they expect me to play 2, 3, or 4, and with matchups and everything. So I think it definitely helped to have the experience, but I was ready to go, and the coaches had me ready to go.
Now, did that help you? Did you help your team with that going into this weekend with a lot of the guards playing different positions and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I think our offense, allows people, we always have to be able to know every position on the court. I mean, we mightn't have the 5 playing the 1 and the 1 playing the 5, but pretty much everyone is interchangeable. So we've tried to make that a point of emphasis all year, but as people have gotten injured, it's been more and more important that everyone gets their reps in practice at every position, because you never know where you're going to be needed. And I think people have done a really good job of that, playing out of position and now earning good minutes in that position, so making it their own. So it's been great.
Is there any fatigue setting in with the short bench?
No.
Not at all?
No, definitely not. We had 2 days off. We rested yesterday, rested today, and we'll be all ready to go for next week. So fatigue is definitely not a factor.
Thank you.
No problem.